Portuguese Author Day and Where is Nonô is the title of our special episode of Can I Read This Article for You? Portuguese Authors Day, May 22nd. Since 1982, in Portugal is marked on May 22nd, the Day of the Portuguese Author. As a Portuguese language author, I mark and celebrate this day together with you here on the Poesias de Nonô blog with a photo from March 2015 when I published my first poem in the sixth poetic anthology Between Dream and Sleep, available only in Portuguese. Events between April 16 to May 22, 2023. Like the previous months, I came here to review the most relevant events in which Nonô participated or attended from April 16 until May 22, 2023. First, I talk about the trip to Norway. Between April 17 and 21 of 2023, during these days in April, I had the privilege of going to Bergen in Norway to get to know the land of the trolls, to see the beautiful fjords. Despite being a work trip, they were very refreshing and inspiring days. During my rest breaks, I managed to find time to get inspired and write poetry, and I choose one to show to you. And this poem is Gone are the days when I used to gather the stones from my path. Gone are the days when I would gather the stones from my path. I carried them because I thought I'd get stronger. Everything seemed slower and slower. I felt heavy and abandoned by faith. Little by little, I was letting go of my burden, deconstructing this wall. I was sweetened, become less bitter. I gave up control, embraced all failure. I straightened my shoulder and spine. I filled my chest with air. With the universe, I became one. With trust, faith, and courage, I walked again. Unconsciously, I had built walls. I thought I was protecting myself. Now, I seek pure thoughts. Everything that comes will help me grow. I open my chest to love. I extend my arms each day. I free myself from pain. I'm surrounded by joy. This poem was written originally in Portuguese on Hotel Scandic in Bergen, Norway, on April 18, 2023 at 8:10 a.m. local hour. On second place, I'm going to talk about the Way of St. James or Camino de Santiago. Between April 22 and May the 1st, 2023, I barely had time to be home and see my cats. The day after I got back from Norway, I woke up at 4 o'clock a.m. to leave for Porto in the 6:30 a.m. bus to start the Way of St. James around 10 a.m. in the search of Carvalhitos in Porto. It was a very intense 10 days at all levels. In a few words, it is exceedingly difficult to explain everything I felt. I can only tell you that they were transforming moments. During this trip, I felt inspired and drafted some poems. I transcribe here one of the poems I wrote, and the title of the poem is Metaphor of the Path. One step at a time, with one goal in mind, even with a few bumps, eyes forward. Sometimes there are mistakes, others there are forks. From every moment, we draw our lessons. We cross villages, we burst through nature, we move on, even if we are not sure. We climb up hills, we overcome mountains, we discover our essences, hidden in our entrails. We greet those who passed by, regardless of the place. Here, we are all friends, and we want to get there. We stop to rest, never to give up. We have reasons in our hearts that make us persist. There are more than one path, and something higher that watches over us. Deep down, we all want to make it, to reach Santiago de Compostela. And this was written in Valença do Minho on the 25 April 2023, about 6 p.m. Before dinner time. I also show you here the scan of my Compostela and a picture of my pilgrim credential with the stamps I collected. It was so many stamps that I had to pilgrim credentials. We also had the privilege of meeting the writer Luís Ferreira, the author of the book 282, The Last Pet Will Always Be the First, and his wife with the same name as me, Leonor. We received a book autographed by the writer. Finally, already in Santiago de Compostela, at the burning of incense, I ended up getting emotional. A lot of things that weighed me down stayed on the way. When I got home, my beautiful cats were waiting for me. On second turn, I talk about my haircut. On May 2nd, 2023, back home and back to work, I decided to get an haircut. Sometimes something changed in me along the way. As a reflection of this, my image also needed to change. I hope you like it. It's more light and it's summertime. On fourth place, I talk about Marketing Masters 2023. Between May 5 and 6, 2023, I spent 2 days immersing myself in the marketing world and learning how digital can change my life. This event took place at CCB in Belém. In fifth, I talk about the Poetry in Two Parts by Nuno Artur Silva. On May 8 and on May 15, 2023, I attended the conference Poesias em Duas Partes, Poetry in Two Parts by Nuno Artur Silva at the Sala de Âmbito Cultural, floor 6 of the El Corte Inglês in Lisbon. I returned to the room where I did launching session of my first book of illustrated poetry for children and teenagers. It's called Animais Poéticos, in English, Poetic Animals. On sixth place, I show you here the Certificate Intimate Collection. On May 10, 2023, I received the Certificate of Participation in the Intimacy Collection of the author's Eroticism and Sensuality, the most recent publication that includes 2 poems by Nonô, and whose launch session is expected to take place on June 11th during the 93rd Lisbon Book Fair. 7th place, I talk about EDP Lisbon Woman and Life. May 12, 2023, I went to the seaside of Expo in CCB to pick up the participation kit and take the opportunity to create and write a verse on the EPO mural. The handwriter was not a very legible because being left-handed and writing with ink that doesn't dry soon is a huge challenge. It was worth for the intention and for this picture taken by a lady who volunteered to capture this moment. And what I wrote in Portuguese was the hardest battles are to be won, every healing make us grow. On May 14, 2023, I went once again to participate in the EDP Lisbon Women and Life Walk, an initiative that I have attended because I embrace the cancer cause, a disease that I am a survivor, not a survivor, but a survivor of. 8. Creative Writing at Galveia's Library. On April 11, I started a new creative writing course at Galveia's Library in Lisbon. However, due to so many outings and activities, I had little time left to develop a short story and read the text of the other participants. Much to my regret, because my priorities turned out to be other, I was forced to give up this maintaining and consistency with myself. I tell this story because it is important for me to demonstrate to those who read me that not everything always goes well. Sometimes there are challenges and setbacks. Anyway, I plan to be present at the last session and at the group dinner. This was a very interesting group I met on the feminist writing, and it's a good energy group, and I want to be present on the dinner. I hope I will be there. Place, I talk about the poet duels, Passion for Two Souls. These days I also finished the 2 poems together with the poet João Dórdio to participate in the poetic anthology by the publisher Infinite that will be released soon. And finally, in 10th place, I talk about the cycle Fernando Pessoa and the Centenarians by Ricardo Belo de Moraes. On May 19, 2023, I attended the first session of the cycle Fernando Pessoa and the Centenarians by Ricardo Belo de Moraes at the Sala Âmbito Cultural on the 4/6 of the El Corte Inglês in Lisbon. We are almost at the mid-year 2023. June 1st, 2023 is near. We are the halfway point of the year. I can assure you that for me this has been a very intense year, lived to the fullest. The next 4 months, from June to September, here on the blog and on the networks, are going to be different. For now, I won't advance anymore. I just ask you to stay tuned or attentive. I say goodbye for today with an overflowing heart, poetic eggs, and see you soon.